So once again, Bob, you brought up the name. Not you, it's the listeners who do it every single time. But, this is a topic we could have bounced into about a dozen times. And I guess he did a show, Vince Young, or did an appearance.
Did an interview on NFL AM.
And kind of, reiterated the fact that he'd like to play again and then sort of.
He's having another pro day.
At the University of Texas, unbelievable. A guy who was drafted where he is going to go to their pro day and just try out. And we sort of heard a few of his comments a little bit, and it sounded like a little bit of the old Vince Young is there. And Bob and I come down in slightly different places on this one because the Seahawks, just speculating, not them, but us, well, why not Vince Young as a backup quarterback? In my mind, yeah, maybe. He's probably worth a look. Why not? He's the backup as long as he's comfortable with all of that. You made a couple of good points, though, about some things that you might worry about when you have them.
Yeah, and this was, again, as you said, it wasn't anybody that said the Seahawks are interested. It's mostly you, the listeners out there, texting in, what about Vince Young? What about Vince Young? He'd be great because he's mobile and he could run the read option. And my hesitation with Vince Young isn't so much what's happened with him off the field, it's who he's been on the field. And he has had success. Rookie of the Year, 2-time Pro Bowler.
Right.
But what was consistent with him is his inability to handle pressure. Right? He did not handle it well, from throwing his equipment into the stands to telling his head coach, Jeff Fisher at the time, when he walked out on a meeting, Jeff Fisher told him, don't walk out on your team. He says, I'm not walking out on my team, I'm walking out on you.
Had the suicide scare?
Yeah, I mean, there was just a guy that tended to crumble under pressure. Now, as a backup, if he never gets into the game, I'm not worried about who he is in the locker room or he's going to be a malcontent. I don't worry about any of that because there's no debate. If he's out. But my hesitation is, God forbid Russell Wilson gets hurt, he's out for 6 weeks, and this is a team that comes in with a lot of expectation, so there is going to be pressure. You're not in Cleveland, you're not in Buffalo. This team's expected to win, and if he's in there for 6 weeks and all the pressure's on him and it starts going the wrong way and perhaps the crowd boos or he's made some bad throws or interceptions, I don't trust his ability to handle it. I don't believe in him as a leader.
And that's the big issue, ultimately when it comes down to it, because, who knows how much he will play. Has he learned anything from that experience? He's 29 now. This is humbling, although he didn't sound particularly humble.
He's a victim.
Yeah, he did kind of blame other people for the problems that he created for himself. But boy, if there's ever a place where you think he could get it together, is here. And I'll tell you this much: there's no way any of those teams he played on, even though they had some success, were as loaded as this Seahawks team is. So he would be around better talent. Maybe a moot point. They may keep Matt Flynn, Vince Young. We think about him a little bit at least.
Help yourself.
All right, I will.